Hi, I'm Milan, I'm a model designer at LEGO, and today we'll be showing you the Space Shuttle Discovery Orbiter. So this is the orbiter that flew the furthest, it carried the most astronauts, it had the longest time in space, and most importantly, it's had the most LEGO sets made of it. So because we've made this model at 1:70 scale, we've been able to include lots of details that we wouldn't normally include in a LEGO model. First, we have the elevons, which we can control the roll of the craft by moving the center engine. We have a body flap, the rudder, and the rudder can actually split into two to act as an air brake on landing. By going up to such a big scale, we've been able to include both the flight deck and the mid-deck, as well as the payload bay of the shuttle. On the flight deck, we've included lots of small controls for the astronauts, as well as 4 seats for the commander, the pilot, and some of the flight specialists. And in the mid-deck, we've included beds, storage, and a 5th seat for the flight specialist. The airlock from the mid-deck goes into the payload bay, and in the payload bay we've included lots of nice little details. We've got the cameras to help the astronauts manipulate the cargo, we've got space for the cargo, and we have the robotic manipulator system, the arm that's able to lift up satellites and parts of the International Space Station and deploy them. One of the things we really want to do was include a payload in the cargo area. So we worked with Manny, our element designer, to make a new door element.
In the Space Shuttle model, we introduced 3 brand new elements. The first one here is our payload bay wall element. We are very excited about this element because it's very thin. It gives us the possibility to build more inside. Other element is this curved 3x3 bow element that goes on our brand new, very sleek windscreen, and it creates this very smooth transition that it represents the windscreen area of the Space Shuttle.
In 2021, with the launch of this model, the Space Shuttle is celebrating its 40th anniversary. So what we wanted to do was not only capture the anniversary of the Space Shuttle, but also of the mission STS-31, which launched the Hubble telescope. And so we've included the Hubble Space Telescope in this model.
Working with Milan was amazing because he knows so much about space travel and everything space related. I just like LEGO a lot, so I was constantly calling this model a rocket or an aeroplane, but I learned from Milan that this is actually a space shuttle.
So I was trying to describe how important the Hubble Space Telescope was to Nico. I was telling him that it could see 72 million light years away in our universe. It's really good at looking.
Milan told me that the Hubble Space Telescope was really good looking, so we made the model entirely drum lacquered silver. So drum lacquering is a special process where we add a thin layer of silver ink to the LEGO bricks to give them a very special shiny effect.
At the front of the model, we have the aperture door, which opens to reveal the lens. There's the supports that allow it to fit snugly inside the payload bay of the shuttle. The communication antennas that has the original solar panels, and the star tracking system. And we've also included this little removable chunk, which is a section that they fixed on one of the servicing missions when Hubble's primary mirror was shown to be defective. One of the challenges with filling the payload bay was coupling the front and rear landing gear. Now obviously on the space shuttle that goes up into space, it's got to come back down to Earth. In the LEGO model we've used springs to make sure that all the landing gear pop out at exactly the same time, and it was a real challenge to get them coupled along the length of the space shuttle whilst maintaining all that room in the cargo bay. One detail that we've never been able to achieve in a LEGO model until now is the reinforced carbon on the leading edges of the wings, and we've represented that by using grey bows to show the leading edge.
We've included 108 drum lacquered silver elements, which is the most that we've included in any LEGO set to date.
Now we know one of the really important things is the display value of the models, and so we've actually included 3 stands in this set, so you can display the shuttle orbiter on its own, you can display the Hubble telescope on its own, but we've also included a 3rd stand, so you can mount the telescope inside the payload bay as if it was being deployed on STS-31.
There's an Easter egg in this set. So as we were building the wings of the model, we found that we needed a 3x3 corner plate. And the only shape that we have that does that is a heart. So to me, it really feels like we put our hearts into this model.
I've always been really interested in flight. I think that comes from building model kits with my dad when I was younger. I remember looking at the LEGO catalogue when I was a kid and seeing the Space Shuttle Discovery that was out at the time, and I wanted it so bad. I tried to build it out of my own LEGO bricks. I think, if 8-year-old Milan knew that I was working with NASA or LEGO Space Shuttle today, he'd be very excited. It's easy to be blown away by the complex engineering and sheer power of these vehicles, but for me, the most fascinating thing about spaceflight is the human element. Everything that the space programs have achieved is done for the progression of life here on Earth and eventually life in space itself. So my favourite part of the model is the tiny blue seats that carried 5 human beings away from their home planet on a mission that for most of human history was totally unfathomable. Those tiny blue seats represent our story and make me wonder where next. Just like I was looking at the Discovery Orbiter in the catalogue when I was a kid, it makes me wonder, will a kid looking at this model in a catalogue be an astronaut that might grow up to spearhead our journey toward the stars?